at your village. You live like a wonderland, trying to practice what you know and trying to challenge other obstacles of people telling you that's not possible, that's possible. You know, you keep working, but in the midst of so many conflicts with other people about your ideas.
More education is passed on to, let me say, the young and the existing farmers. We hope that it will develop and people will be engaged into permaculture. Reason being that with permaculture, due to diversity of plants that are grown, you can harvest money from it. Much money.
So that is the problem with the fellow youth. Like when you try to talk to my friends about what I'm doing, they think farming should be done in the later years, that is 60 years. Maybe when someone is retiring, they think farming is for the old people. They think it's like an old kind of concept. And yet there is no way the world is going to survive without food, without farming, even if we try to mitigate climate change impact, it starts with the food we eat. We need to be healthy, we need to do everything, and it starts with the youth.
So that's also a big challenge. If you don't have motivation and courage, you will definitely abandon what you are doing.
Well, it seems like you still have some courage and motivation.
Oh, that's very interesting to think about, because I overcame. I have no complaints. Even though someone comes to challenge me, I will just tell him. Not even tell him, I just tell him, okay, come I first show you the first step I made. We go further. The more you challenge me, the more it's good to challenge somebody at the same time. Because if you know the reason why someone's challenging you, definitely it can be for positivity. It creates if you take it positively, it can bring you to a point that you can discover the next step of what you need to do.
If we think back of the origins of agriculture and where that came about, where it was a sustainable practice by indigenous people, a sustainable practice alongside nature to ensure food security, to ensure that the biodiversity of the land and nature was not overexposed. So there's a lot of questions that can be asked about sustainable agriculture. This is not a new concept. This is not a new methodology. On the contrary, this is a remembering, a regeneration that needs to happen in terms of agriculture. And we need the research to support all of this. But at the same time, we need to stop institutionalizing these practices. We need to stop segregating these practices.
Through permaculture, we are remembering almost lost and almost hidden methods of farming and agricultural practices. The Tropical Permaculture Education Institute of Africa is a direct response to uplift the indigenous perspective on farming, the indigenous knowledge, and embody that within modern cultural practices, modern agricultural practices, and modern practices of cross-trade and business. And this is the way that we are catalyzing and scaling a model based upon permaculture principles, a human-centered approach to relationships and forming partnerships, and also a nature-centered approach.
I feel the possibility of creating a process and make it available to young people. How does someone start a PDC? And after a PDC, this is what you can do. Which farm is doing permaculture that you can go do an internship and train? Which other businesses where you can go and be employed? So that's why we need more investors in permaculture, so that they open up these businesses, so that the young people who practice permaculture can say, okay, there is a place where I can go try to have a job. Meantime, if I own a farm. But everybody who starts a project wants to own a farm. It's not going to be so much possible for everybody to own a farm. But there are so much other places where we can apply permaculture, at workplaces, in businesses, in hospitals. Permaculture is around big perspective that we can try to explore in different ways, and who can help people to rethink on how to explore these things.